Shut up and sit down.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of Build, Paint, Play. I'm Dave.
Greetings, programs. I'm Jake. We're here to have a fun episode, and we're joined by Mike. I don't know which side he's on. Is he on this side for me?
That side, yep. So that way, yes. Mike Franchina.
So Mike is also here with us. We're going to talk about Trench Crusade and, you know, whatever else decides to come up. So,
hi, guys. Thanks for having me on.
That's
thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks very much for joining us, Mike. We're very excited to have a nice in-depth chat. Dig into maybe not too much, not too deep into your mind. Sometimes I think there's some fantastic stuff and some super frightening stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to get killed by some artillery witch.
It's like that. It's like that part in with the Willy Wonka thing, that scene where they're riding through the train and there's all that weird stuff going on in the background. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Oh,
the original?
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's fantastic.
There's no way of knowing which way the train is going.
Absolutely. I was hoping it was going to be like that. So looking forward to that. We're going to say hi to the folks in the chat. We've got Scott Radams here. Hi, Scott. Dave Hummel, Pete Hairston. We've got some Trench Crusade picks, some of Pete's work coming up later in the show. Alan Borthwick has joined us from New Zealand. Miserable wet Wednesday morning. Sorry to hear that, but at least you are working from home. Chris Kennedy.
Alan, in the future, is Trump still our president?
Unfortunately,
I like to check every week because he's in the future. Maybe things have changed.
Yep. Sadly, it is still the same. Patrick Keith is here. Says, hey all, just sitting here sculpting some sacred across the area for the Kickstarter. Nice. So nice little plug there. While listening to the show. Yes, there we go. Fantastic. Chris Cummings says, woohoo, Trench Crusade. Can't wait for my minis to arrive. Awesome. Fantastic. So just quickly, Jake, busy week?
Yeah, it's been a lot of like prep and getting stuff ready. So in the factory team thread last week, we were prepping for Nova. And when we were on the show last week, I ducked off to make sure that my tickets went through when we were doing the interview. So I ended up getting tickets for the Necromunda. I think it's the Necromunda all day on Friday. And then I'm playing in that doubles tournament for Horus Heresy.
Oh, the bromance match.
Yeah, with your buddy. So that should be fun.
Excellent.
But yeah, Phil and a bunch of the guys in the thread were like, hey, like we should do this and we should do this. So now there's some painting contest that we're like hammering out what that's gonna look like. But Phil, so I did this with Phil because Phil's like, I want to get into Necromunda. I've never played it. And I was like, okay, cool. So he's like, you should do it with me. I was like, all right, I'll do it. So, but I haven't played Necromunda in, I don't know. I mean, I know how to play, but it's been years. Like I couldn't tell you the last time I played Necromunda. It might've been like 2011, maybe.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to need to do some refresher to figure out how that works.
Broad strokes. It's going to be 4+ to hit, 4+ to wound.
Cool. Space Marines all the way. I'm used to that.
Yeah. Fantastic. Mick Palazzi has joined us in the chat. Peter Heston said, I'm helping run the 2-day campaign event for Trench Crusade at Nova.
Awesome.
Excited.
Nice.
Excellent.
Cool. Hank's here.
Hank from Adepticon has joined us.
Man, myth, the legend.
Josh Potter has joined us saying, Hank. And Scott Radham has decided to commit for entering the local armies on parade for October 4th. So I need to research the bare minimum I need to paint.
How many points, Scott? How many points is it?
It's the GW armies on parade. It's not points. I think it's point specific.
But there's got to be requirements. So like the minimum is you got to paint like probably 12 custodes.
Probably. Yeah, that'd be it. That'd be the smallest. Greg Zuniga has joined us. Fantastic. And Pete says, be right back. Go grab dinner.
Nice.
Fantastic. So yeah, you can eat while you're watching us. That'd be all good. Mike, how about yourself? Have you been busy, or it's generally pretty quiet now?
No, it's been super busy. Yeah, like I was saying before, we're putting the final touches on the book now. I'm still working on some illustrations for the book. Still getting some more. We commissioned some more illustrators to work on it, so it's just more book stuff. We're getting the book, and then random Kickstarter, issues that pop up still every now and again. So it sounds like you've run a couple of Kickstarters yourself, so
yep,
it's a lot of work.
It is. Yeah, I'm currently on my running my 9th Kickstarter at the moment.
Okay.
So I think it's 9th. It might be 10th. I don't know, but I've helped with a few others as well. But yeah, I think I was going to say like getting you guys getting Jamie on the team must have been a complete godsend, because he run a bunch of big Kickstarters, and just the way that he handled everything during the Kickstarter, certainly from the backers' point of view. I was watching what he was like, how he was answering questions and all that sort of thing, and it was just like, that's amazing. He did a fantastic job. Yeah,
I honestly, if he hadn't been on board, I don't know what we would have done, frankly, because it's so much work running a Kickstarter, and this one was like way bigger than we anticipated. So I think we would have been screwed.
It would have been it would have been tougher, but no, I think you guys made a fantastic choice there. It was definitely cool to see.
Yeah, and we're on track, pretty quick as far as Kickstarters go, I would say, in terms of delivery for stuff. So I'm really happy with that, because I've everyone's back to Kickstarter. Usually I just kind of forget about it, and then it shows up on my door one day and I'm like, nice, But this one's going pretty quick, so it feels good.
Yeah, no, I think you guys have done a great job there. I know there are a lot of people who are super excited and might be like, hey, when's my stuff arriving? And it's like, dude, it's April, and they said they're going to deliver by August. So
yeah,
you can be patient a little bit longer. But,
no, you guys are doing awesome. You're way ahead of the curve too. I find it hilarious that you guys were like, we're looking to raise $65K, and it's like, whoa, okay, we definitely got that. So the fact that it just means that everything is increased by several orders of magnitude, right? So you're instead of being we're gonna have to make guys for me and a handful of my friends, now it's we have to make guys for 20,000 plus people. So
yeah, it's a real lot of people. But
it's how many pizzas am I ordering?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good problem to have. So we're all really thankful.
Yeah, no, definitely. One of the things I was going to say, I'm glad that there is a physical book. Obviously, I'm a big fan of folks in the chat will know that I'm a big fan of physical books. Yep. Jake also.
I have a bibliophile.
But yeah, just that ability to turn the pages and to open to awesome spreads of fantastic artwork, and be able to flick back and forth between keywords and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely something that we're excited about. No, definitely super cool. Do you know? I know. I saw some pages being posted at some point. It might have actually, during Thomas's keynote sort of address or presentation at AdeptiCon.
Mm-hmm.
He showed some of the pages that were being worked on.
Yeah.
And how are you feeling about how the layout is going, how it's looking from an aesthetic point?
It's looking really cool. I mean, it's a little different than say an art book, because there's all these other, I don't know, restrictions about you need, ideally for me, it would be it'd be 1,000 pages long,
right.
And it would have all the art I've ever done for Trench Crusade, which is hundreds and hundreds of paintings.
Yeah.
But because it's a rule book and it needs to fit in people's backpacks and not weigh 10 pounds, it can't be that big. So there are some restrictions, like because it's a rule book and it's not an art book. So like I think it looks really good. And we have we have an amazing layout guy, Spirit on, and we have an amazing graphic designer who's really like making it look really it feels like it's kind of in the world of Trench Crusade in some of the graphic design stuff, which is really cool. So it's gonna look really good.
You guys could always do like take a page out of James' workshop where you do like, you know, there's the full like Leviathan rule book that's like this big and it weighs a ton, and then there's like the core book, which is like a little digest that's just the rules, and then there's like the collector's edition of the rule book, which is like there's a separate art book and it all goes in a sleeve. I mean, like that sort of stuff. You guys clearly like there's no bottom of the barrel. Like it just never ends. There's so much stuff you guys could add. To your point, but it's like, you know, if you just want to do one book, it's like, how do we balance that so people get like the atmospheric art that everybody loves and wants, but then also it's like manageable and there's like rules that make sense, and like you don't need to have like 700 pages of like background and fluff. You just need like, how do I play this game? So
that's also like a bonus, I think, at least a little bit for Trench Crusade, is because the background of the setting is a lot of it is just like, it's just like the real world. Like, oh, like you understand what like France is or whatever. You know, you don't need to know, like when you think about 40K or something like that, or even like the Warhammer Fantasy, like what's Altawan? You have to describe like what Altawan is, who lives there. But like in Trench Crusade, it's like, well, the French people live in France, like you get it, you know. So it's a little easier in some regards in that way.
Yeah, yeah, and all the things that you learn about what France is like in Trench Crusade is okay. That's what happened over those 800 years,
right?
Years kind of thing.
I loved that map you guys had at the booth at Adepticon. That was so cool.
Yep. The so speaking of that and speaking of the keynote, I have put a link in the notes below. It's a link to the video that MiniWargamer Dave did, released a couple of weeks ago, I think. But basically, it covers some conversation at Adepticon, but also Thomas's keynote presentation. It's not all of it, but it's sizable chunks of it. I was a big fan of how Thomas put his presentation together, because it's essentially, here are the mistakes that we made.
Yeah.
Like 5 or 6 wonderful mistakes that we made. Everybody said we shouldn't do this. We did it. And that was obviously a big mistake. And
yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was one of the reasons like I started doing Trench Crusade at all in the beginning, was because I was working at Blizzard and I wanted to do this like really, really dark stuff. And, you know, everyone would be like, you can't do that. You can't, it's like, you know, you just can't do that for whatever reason. And I was like, I think you can, you know, I think people would probably like it if we did that, you know? So it actually feels pretty good to see like the response to this sort of thing that I've been thinking about a long, long time. Like, I don't think it's that big an issue. We could probably do that.
Right. Yeah. I think, we're probably ready to jump into, because we got, as you said, you have hundreds of pieces of artwork. I was able to find, I was able to find loads that I wanted to include, but I trimmed them back. So we've probably got like 25 pieces of artwork.
Okay.
To sort of chat through either specifically or generally about them. But yeah, so I'm going to pull up our little presentation. And we'll get that underway. How are things going in the chat, Jake?
Pretty good. No fights so far. I haven't had to throw anybody out.
Fantastic.
Scott seems to be on his best behavior today.
Excellent. Well, now that you've said that,
Scott and Alan are talking about different stuff they can enter. I guess Alan said he won a global bronze with the Necromunda kill team a couple years ago, and he's going to try to do a kill team this year. So now him and Scott are figuring out what kill teams they're going to do.
Oh, nice. Very cool. And Sean Gleason has joined us, and also Ghoul. Ghoul is in the chat saying, "Hey, Mike, I love your art."
Thank you.
I'm painting my Cenobite themed Heretic Anointed at the moment.
Nice.
Cool. Excellent. So first up, as I mentioned to you, Mike, we thank our season sponsor, the Army Painter. Jake and I are members of the Army Painter factory team as well. So very proud to do that. And of course, I'd dug back into November when the Kickstarter was running, and Thomas, the sort of lead studio painter from the Army Painter, studio was diving into Trench Crusade. So you can head to the Army Painter website linked below, check out their blog, and see how Thomas approached painting.
You gotta love the banana hands on that guy.
Oh, on the community. Yep.
That model's great.
That's mine. That's
Yeah, he painted them really well too. They look really cool. I love the really rich, saturated rust color.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't
The
it?
guy on the right with the red like tilting plate reminds me of Bosk, or not Bosk, Bausch from Return of the Jedi, with that helmet.
Yep.
I'm not sure.
So
which one is
Bausch
that?
is Princess Leia's bounty hunter disguise.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Remember she pulls out the thermal detonator?
Yeah.
Yato. Like it reminds me of that. It's the palette's the same and the helmet's similar.
Yeah. But no, fantastic. Thank you very much, Army Painter. And we are super excited to have you continue being our season sponsor.
Yeah, for sure.
We did mention the Art of Kickstarter, which is running at the moment. So these
seem okay. I don't know who's behind these, but these seem pretty solid.
Yeah, it's not bad. I have heard the guy's a bit of a jerk, but apart from that,
I hadn't heard that. That's weird. It's weird that you heard that.
Did you just hear that he was a nice guy and that everybody?
I said seems like. I'm not really
okay. Ready. Again, there's a link to the Kickstarter down in the notes below. Things are going really well. We are over, I think, 830 backers at the moment. So and we've got 2 weeks left to go.
Come on, Dave. We gotta get those Trench Crusade numbers up. Come on. What are we doing here?
We do. I'm sorry. I'm not. If I was a spectacular artist that was hitting some fantastic notes, perhaps I could.
When are we doing? So maybe Mike, if you can grease the wheels, we can do an the Art of Trench Crusade.
That'd be sick.
That could be a possibility, but yeah, I don't know.
I know a guy who could probably do a book series for you.
Fantastic. But yeah, links are down below. Fantastic. We're also giving away a ticket, convention access pass or equivalent value to Nova Open. So on this video after the live stream, make sure you come back, put a comment, like the video, subscribe, tag a friend in the comment, and we put up posts on Facebook in the BuildPaintPlay Facebook page and the BuildPaintPlay Instagram page today. Corey has just joined us in the chat, and I think we'll hopefully be putting up something on the Blue Sky and wherever else we are on social media.
I gotta get Corey with the Blue Sky login. I have that somewhere.
We haven't done that yet. Oh my goodness!
I don't think so. And then Jeff just jumped on too.
Jeff has joined us as well. So hi Jeff, hi Corey. Fantastic. Scott says, I don't mean to derail the show, but Dave, is your Kickstarter tariff safe? So who knows? But the short answer, that's the short answer. The long answer is all the tariffs that have being applied are being done under the International Economic Emergency Protection Act, the IEEPA. Which expressly forbids tariffs being put on informational materials, which include books, magazines, newspapers, pamphlets, I guess. So fingers crossed that means 0 tariffs. If it means 10% tariffs or 25% tariffs because they're printed in Lithuania in the EU, it'll only be the ones coming into the US that'll be applied to if it is going to happen. And we are planning for coverage on that.
Scott, you're in Canada, so you should be fine.
Well, the other part there is shipping from the US into Canada. We don't know. We're gonna have to see, but we're preparing to be able to cover that. Should there be something?
Scott, we can just hand deliver to you at Nova.
I'm not sure. I don't think Scott's coming to Nova this year.
Well, the next show we see you at.
I'll have to go to Canada to give it to him. But moving on. Next up, so I mentioned to Mike that these are some of the Prussians that I've been working on.
These are great.
Yeah, they're so cool looking.
So yeah, I'm really sort of super stoked to to have these done.
I love the what is it, the lieutenant or the Hauptmann in the mechanized armor, the machine armor. It's really cool.
Yeah, I wanted to. I mean, I saw that there's the artwork sort of earlier in the book, in the rules that are free online on the Trench Crusade site. I'm in there with the tank splitter sword and the police, like PELISSE.
Oh right, yeah, the Hussar coat. Yeah,
yeah. And I love that. And then it was like, well, that tank splitter sword's pretty big. Oh, maybe I need to put him in something that's kind of chunky.
Yeah,
so,
it's cool. I love it with the like the heavy armor with the Hussar hat. What are they? What is that? A Shako?
The Shako,
yeah. It's really cool looking.
Yeah. No, yeah, it was fun. The I think the hats are done by all the heads are like Prussian diesel punk heads.
Yeah, they're cool.
Called Archimundi. I can't remember if it's on My Mini Factory or Cults, but one of the two. But yeah, they all work out really nicely. So I've got
the two guys with the Swyhanders. All I can think of is they're like Empire greatswords.
Oh yeah, yeah, they're super similar. So those ones, the like the guy on the right there, who's sort of in the middle of the frame. The body is the official like Trench Crusade shock trooper.
Mm-hmm.
The arms are from the Red Brigade.
Okay.
Westphalia Red Brigade. And then this guy is Westphalia Red Brigade arms and body as well.
I really like the helmet on that guy. It looks like an armet or something like that. Which is really cool looking.
Yeah, it's got that sort of pointed face kind of thing going on.
I think I might steal that. It's really cool looking.
Excellent. And then I've got the yeoman on the other.
Yeah, they look great, man. So what's the 74? Is that like the regiment they're in or something like that?
Yeah, I wanted to sort of have that, the like 74th Battalion or regiment or something like that. The funny part about like where it came from, I was like, I've got to come up with a number. The Prussian rules start on page 74.
Very deep, very deep.
I was like, I could research something historically, but it's going to be a different history, right? So
right.
Went
Yeah,
straight
that's
to
good.
what page they were on.
I like it. It makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're ever playing, you're like, where are those rules?
What's going on? Page 74. So yeah, then there's the characters there. So
That's cool. I didn't notice the decapitated werewolf. That's really cool.
Yeah. He was. I think it was behind. Sort of hiding behind a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that's sick.
Those are great, Dave.
Is it decapitated or is it like waist cut off?
Yeah, sort of cut through at the waist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bisected.
Yeah.
I think if I decapitated him, it would have been tough for him to be standing on both of them. So I had a little bit of putty around the sort of the bottom of the feet there, so he looks sort of sunken in a bit into the musculature.
That's cool.
And
That's great.
Yeah, the fun part as well. With all of the like the special troops or the special organizations within each faction, the sub factions, I guess, is usually like you get some benefit, but then there's a restriction, and the restriction for these guys is you can only have outside of your characters, you can only have one heavy, or you can only have one machine armored guy.
Right.
Even though I have two, it's basically I can choose which one I want to go with, field one or the other. And I can also only have one machine gun. So if I field this guy with the in the heavy armor with the machine gun, I can't field my sniper priest with the machine gun.
Okay.
Dude, you gotta love the Radial magazine. That's like the most hilarious design. I like it's super cool when you see it in action, but it's so weird. Like you're like, why would you do it this way?
There's a couple of guns that did it. Just like the Russians had the DP-28, and that was that had the pan mag, and then that's the Lewis gun.
Yeah,
it's just so wacky. You're like it's like a revolver, but like top down. It's so weird. It's such a weird design.
Did I don't think it made it through to World War II, did it?
No, I think it
Yeah,
did.
they got precedent service. Some designs just kept it. So,
But I think they switched to the Bren gun.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I don't know what the British used for like their heavy machine gun. Maybe the Vickers from World War One.
I think it was the Vickers, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But yeah, so and these are some other models I'm working on next.
Oh, for the Sultanate.
Yeah, I found there was another creator, I think Kai Tech. So they had a third sort of sculpt for the line of Jabir and a
cool.
Janissary with a machine gun.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's awesome.
And a couple of extra stormtroopers that I just printed off from my again the Red Brigade with the extra heads.
Yeah, those are great sculpts. I like all the Red Brigade stuff. Looks sick.
Yeah, definitely really cool. Oh, Scott says, Dave, I expect those minis to be painted by the end of the episode.
End of the episode, Dave. They'll be done before we get to the miniature section.
Alan says the battle damage on the shield looks great, Dave. Do you sponge chipping for this? I usually do sponge chipping, but for this one I wanted something a little bit more controlled, so it's just a like a size 0 brush, sort of tapped and dragged across the different areas. Takes a little bit longer, but sort of extra control there. But yeah, so enough about minis. I got to show off my minis to Mike.
They look awesome, man.
Cool, thank you.
Dave keeps our average high.
Yeah.
So between the two of us, we painted like 9 miniatures this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. So moving on, let's jump into talking about the art and everything that you've created. So I think my first question was going to be, and following on from your comment about having hundreds of pieces, when did you start working on sort of toying around with different ideas and images that would eventually become Trench Crusade? What's the origin story, I guess?
Well, my friend had this like online class, and he was at Blizzard, and then he would the draw was that Blizzard artists would teach classes for aspiring artists and things like that. So he asked me to teach a character design course, which is kind of like the thing I like to do. And because when I paint like a big environment, it's like you have to paint the background and the characters and everything. But with a character design, you just draw the character, and it's real easy. You don't have to paint too much. And anyway, so with Blizzard, it's like they had to make sure that what you were doing, like you had to get like special like permission to kind of do this stuff, because so you couldn't have anything look like or be confused with like a Blizzard product. So it couldn't look like it was like a StarCraft guy or a World of Warcraft guy or whatever, or Diablo guy. So I just, I've always been interested in like, weird religions and like with the world wars and stuff. And I love all like the gear and the weapons and tanks. And so I was like, I'll just, mush all this stuff together for this character. And that's the Trench Pilgrim came out of that with the big like iron caparot. And once I finished that, I was like, this is really fun. I just never stopped. Like, so that was in 2016, and I just kept doing it till now. So like, I would just draw characters that I liked, and then look bit by bit, like, expand on the world, at least enough for me to like have cool characters in the world, So I didn't make like this huge, rich backstory, but there was like a framework for me to like make character designs in. And then eventually I was like, I'll turn this into like an art book at some point, it'll just be like a source book for like a setting that doesn't have any rules or anything, it'll just be art and kind of lore. But eventually, we turned it into the Trench Crusade game. So
cool. It was interesting, like when you mentioned like focusing on that you enjoy character design a little bit more than sort of environmental design.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things in 2016, 2017, I worked with, it's Cool Mini or Not, as it was at the time, on Dark Age, the game Dark Age, which was very heavily based on a lot of Brom.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So and I think very much like Brom was also somebody who was super excited about character design, did not at all enjoy environmental stuff.
Yeah. Well, and he probably didn't really like dynamic poses either, because, or at least like really actiony poses, because everyone's kind of just like standing there. They look cool, don't get me wrong, but like it's kind of like, I'm not really good at that either. So my characters are very stiff looking.
Right. It's kind of the like you turn the corner and that's like you spot somebody down a dark alley. They're just standing there. They're waiting. They're menacing. You know they're going to kill you. They're not charging at you.
Brom's characters are doing a lot of like lurking and waiting. Like that's what they do. They're about to do something dynamic.
Yes, exactly.
Poised.
But one of the things that I said to them, said to Cool Mini or Not at the time, was we need to do more. We need more environmental art. People need to understand what this world looks like, not just who's in this world, but what does this world look like?
Yeah.
They have all the background for the world, but maybe 3 images. So it was like, I think while I was there, we managed to expand that to maybe 20.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Which wasn't too bad, but it wasn't. I think we still could have done a lot more. But so yeah, I really love the environmental aspect as well. So obviously, when we're talking about something where there's a huge amount of supernatural elements, it's like having a little hint of what that could be, what that could look like, is can really set off people's imagination.
Yeah, that's kind of been kind of like a main goal for this whole project, is not explaining every little nook and cranny of the universe. And like, you know, I always bring it up, but like that movie Alien, I love the first Alien movie, you know, because you don't know where this thing came from and you don't know what it is. And but then in like Prometheus, they explain all that. And you're like, that was terrible. Like, why did you guys do that? Like, I didn't want to know. It was better not knowing. So even like when I was first doing the art and I would come up with little like flavor blurbs, you know, like just like a sentence or two to describe like what's going on. I was always reminded of being like a kid looking at Magic the Gathering cards, and they have the flavor text at the bottom, and they talk about like this quote is from an encyclopedia in the universe, and it talks about this thing. And I always thought that was like so cool and like intriguing, and it kind of opened your mind up to like what's going on here, you know. And it's more fun just like coming up with your own ideas of what's going on, you know.
I think that's the best thing for most of us. I think that's the best thing about the whole universe, right? It's got to have a cool shark fin, because that's the only part you see. You're like, oh my god, like who knows what it is? Is it is it a great white? Is it a whale shark? Is, you know what I mean? Is it a mako? That's, you know what I mean? But like if the fin isn't cool, like I don't care. Like who knows what it is? So
Right.
I think for Alien, they did a good job of being like, you're like, oh, here's the shark fin. You're like, oh, well, what is that? What's going on? And there's enough in it that you can kind of infer. Like when they start using the computer and they talk about how they're from Earth, you're like, okay, so this is obviously in the future, and they're like they're miners, I guess. Like, so they fill in bits and bobs, but like you still never find out what's going on with the alien, which is great, right? Because it's like, not only did they find the alien on a random planet, it's an alien that was on another alien ship.
Yeah.
So it's not even those aliens. You're like, this is wild.
And
so
even
yeah.
when they answer a few questions in the movie, where like when you find out like Ash was like sent there to like, you know, get those people like, you know, infected with the alien, you're like, but like why are they doing this? And you don't really know. Like it opens, you get answers, but they open up more questions, which I think is really cool and fun.
Yeah.
This is super cool, by the way. Those like giant mega tanks, like that's rad. The scale of this is so awesome.
Cool. Yeah. I think those are actually based on a French self-propelled artillery. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but they look really cool. And I just like the so the guy who painted this, he's doing some more
oh, okay. This wasn't you?
Well, I did the sort of like layout, and then he finished it, because I just couldn't. It was like a collaboration, but he's really good at this kind of like atmospheric environment painting, and he's worked on this guy Artem worked on a ton of cool games, and so yeah, he's doing a bunch more for the book, and yeah, he's just fantastic. This was so I hired him to paint this before like there was even a game or anything. Like I just wanted some environments for my Trench Crusade universe, so I just like paid him some money to do it, and it stuck around. It's so good.
Yeah. The this is another environmental piece, which is now like iconic, classic.
Yeah,
it is Trench Crusade.
Yeah, I did paint this one. Yeah,
that's awesome.
How do you feel about all the people who have gone and been making enormous concrete crosses for their gaming tables?
I think it's awesome. I think it's really cool. I don't really know what the crosses do. I assumed it was like a radio tower or like a radar, because there's an anti-aircraft gun there. So like I was kind of picturing it's like some kind of radar tower or something, and they're shooting demon fighter planes out of the sky or who knows what.
No,
I love like the hard technology too. So you've got like a zillion radio aerials, and then there's also like radio lines running to it. So,
yeah, like the setting is kind of out there, but all those little like details make it feel kind of believable, and that's the kind of stuff I get like really into, is like these little tiny believable details that make it feel real, even though it's kind of a weird out there setting.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. The next one I have, so yeah, as I mentioned to you before the show, I hadn't seen your art until 2022. I think it was like probably May, June, when James Sheriff, who had followed a bunch of his work beforehand, sort of posted this image and said like Kickstarter coming soon. And I was like, what the hell? Spectacular. I want this. How did that sort of get started working with James?
I had done an interview with them for 28 Mag.
Right.
So 28 Mag, just they'll bring on some artists and they'll put you on the cover and they'll just do like a short little interview. And I think I had done that first, and then James was like, "Hey, what do you think about me sculpting some of your designs? And we can make a Kickstarter." And I was like, "Yep, sounds pretty cool." And he was going to run the Kickstarter, so I didn't really have to do any of like the admin stuff. So I was pretty on board. So yeah, that was basically it. And the Kickstarter went really well, except for we had some like issues with the manufacturing and the Siocast stuff, because it's like this proprietary plastic that we couldn't get for like months. But James made some amazing sculpts. Like all his sculpts are incredible, and he actually sculpted them like at 1-to-1 scale, like with like Fimo, like clay, like actual like Fimo clay. He's since switched to ZBrush, but which I think it makes things somewhat easier. But
no, I think it was awesome when I like when that started, and it started out as that like the single model, and by the end of the campaign it was like there was 7 or 8 models, I think.
Yeah, it was these two guys, it was the combat medic kind of nurse, the witch burner, the observer, and the trench pilgrim, I think. Yep. And I think then there were a couple of variations on the community print. Yeah, James did some cool like alternate poses.
Are all these models then part of the full Trench Crusade Kickstarter, or are they separate?
We made them. There was no like Trench Crusade game when we did this first Kickstarter,
right?
So, but you could get these during the game Kickstarter, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
they're all mercenaries because they don't really have like their own war bands yet.
Yeah. So in the if you've got the mercenary STLs, you've got the STLs to print these.
Yeah.
These original ones that I got are from the CO cast from that 2022 Kickstarter.
Okay.
So yeah, but yeah, it was just, again, that was my introduction to your art, and talking with James about it afterwards, it was like, oh yeah, we're going to be working on a game now, and we're going to bring on Thomas Spearin and that kind of thing. It just seemed like a fantastic, or something fantastic. As a miniature wargamer myself, it was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm really excited to be able to play in this world as well and learn more about it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, after we had finished the Kickstarter, and it made some pretty good money for us, and we were like, well, let's maybe we should make a game. And then we asked, James knew Tomas, I think, a little bit, and he asked him, and we had some money from the Kickstarter that we just kind of like put into the game, so so in the end we didn't really make any money on the first Kickstarter because we just like put it all into the game part. So
yeah, that's excellent. The so looking at the sort of the witch burner that we've got on the screen at the moment, how soon after that initial Trench Pilgrim kind of thing was this guy?
Oh, I don't really remember. I mean, it's kind of hazy because it's so long ago, but this guy would have been, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe like a year afterward. Eventually, like after, so when I started in 2016, I would just do it at night after work, and I didn't really, it's just, you come home from work, you're tired, you don't want to do anything, but so I would kind of work at it pretty like haphazardly. But then in 2018, I quit Blizzard so I could spend more time working on this. So I would do freelance for like, basically like I'd do freelance for like 6 months, and then I would do Trench Crusade for 6 months.
Okay.
Kind of so it was like half on, half off kind of thing. So then it started to really speed up in 2018 when I had more time to do this stuff. So yeah, this guy, I like this guy. Like there's some kind of, if you can't look at it like his skirts too closely, like how they work, because they don't really make any sense, but he's just got like a really cool, intimidating pose. And I love the cane, and Tomas even made rules for him where he can't dash in the game because he's like, he's not going to be rushed by anybody. He's like Michael Myers or something, just like
it's Vader. Like Vader doesn't run.
Right.
He angry walks.
Yeah.
Yep. Actually, Vader's a great analogy there. In that, obviously, instead of black, the red.
Yeah.
It's all doused in red. But that looks fantastic.
That's great. Again, there's so much like you look at this and you're like, okay, it smells like smoke. I know where we are.
Yep.
Yeah. And he's got the cool judge's wig on. I think that's my favorite part of the design is that kind of like classic British judge's wig, or I guess lawyers wear them too. Not really sure.
Yeah, it's a barrister's wig. It's still nice and clean too.
Yeah. He's probably got some like surf that like washes it every day for him.
Yeah.
Picks out all the lice.
No doubt. And that looks great. And I think also from a miniature painting point of view, to take it back to that, if you wanted to go with this sort of scheme with the red armor and the red robes, you see the difference between the armor and the robes is that the armor's got all those areas where the red paint has been chipped off.
Yeah.
So just those little touches of silver on the edges are great. Nice quick way to go.
Yeah, and a lot of my Trench Crusade art is like it's brown a lot of the time, or just like rusty. So it's kind of nice to get some bright colors in every now and again.
Yeah, it looks great. That's the next image that we've got is this guy.
Yeah, so that's the Pilgrim Communicant. So the communicants eat the flesh and blood of a Metachrist, which is sort of a horribly cloned version of Jesus Christ. And then, they use them in all these weird experiments and stuff. And so they grow to like a hulking size, and their wounds can regenerate. And for the pilgrims, they're just all like, religious fanatics, like cranked up all the way, Because there's all sorts of like weird religious rituals out there, and these guys do all of them, you know.
These religious nuts go to 11. They have a
Yeah.
I think just quickly to give folks an idea of the scale there. This isn't quite the same communicant, but it's a similar scale to that. You've got the regular trooper and the communicant size.
Well, in that picture, I was going to say the thing on his belt, that looks like it's not quite a tower shield, but that's a large shield.
Yeah.
That's hanging off his waist.
This one? Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
like it's hanging off his waist like it's like half a skateboard, and it's like that's probably like a 4-foot like large shield.
Right.
Yeah. That's like I used a lot of like these religious icons in their artwork because it's such a cool evocative thing that it's like a very interesting style in the way they paint those, and it's like apparently it's like a form of prayer. Even the aspect of painting the icons is considered like a form of prayer. So only priests can do maybe not priests, but I think it's something to do with like only Christians can paint them or something like that. I don't really know the details of it, but it's pretty neat. It's a pretty neat thing.
Yeah, as Josh says in the comments, it looks like a vase.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, so it would have been. Sorry, what was that? A medieval vase was the shield they put up in front of like crossbowmen or archers.
Yeah, I remember they had those on the the Dogs of War in Warhammer Fantasy. They had like a crossbowman unit.
Yeah, Briganza's besiegers.
Yes, that's right.
Same with Giselle teams. There's a there's a guy in the front with the shield up, and then
with escaping Giselle teams for sure. But yeah, this guy's fantastic, and I also love the again going to the environmental sort of stuff. So the cross in the background, just strewn with strands of barbed wire.
Yeah. That's the kind of level of environment painting I don't mind doing because it doesn't take too long.
People are like, "What's it like?" You're like, "Well, in this picture, there's a desert, and then there's a cross." So like, I nailed it. It's cloudy.
Yeah,
it's always there's always foggy.
Yeah, I always assumed there was like lots of dust and gas in the air.
It just smells like cordite and mustard gas.
Yeah.
Not a pleasant environment. So this one is fantastic. Again, this is a great example of that. I certainly think it is a great example of that character design, character art. You're saying, here's what they look like. There's an environment in the background again that the mustard gas and fog, but what sort of inspiration? Where were you drawing your inspirations from for the machine armor? There's
a Japanese artist named Kao Yokoyama who makes this thing called Machining Krieger.
Right.
And I don't really know how to describe it. It's sort of like late cold, maybe like feels like maybe the 60s or 70s in like an alternate universe. And he has all this cool powered armor, but it looks like very industrial, and it looks like it's made out of like cast steel, like a Sherman tank turret or something like that. And it has like these really cool shapes to it. And so I didn't want it to be sci-fi. I don't like glowy lights on stuff. I don't like Tron lights, and I don't like hexagon shields and video games and things like that. So like the Trench Crusade, it is kind of sci-fi, but not in the way you typically expect it to be. So all the details are like really believable. So I wanted power armor, but I didn't want to be sci-fi at all. I didn't want glowy anything, or I wanted it to feel like a tank that walks, essentially.
Yeah, it's very diesel punk. I know exactly what you're talking about. That artist, I've seen a bunch of his stuff. So people are always like, "What's it like?" And I was like, "Okay, so does everybody know the cartoon The Jetsons?" So The Jetsons is like, they took the idea of 50s and 60s life, and then all the stuff that they were told we were going to get, they just put in it. So there's a robot that cleans the house, and he has a flying car, and there's like escalators everywhere, like moving sidewalks. But it still feels like the 50s and 60s. That guy's art is the same thing. Like it feels like the 50s, but it's like World War II technology, but now it's like we're living in a new age, so everything is like a little bit updated, so everything feels newer and like retro.
Yeah,
it's like retro futurism.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a cool vibe. Like I love this is what got me. Like I love the whole aesthetic of these guys, and I'm a sucker for like giant robots and mech suits. So as soon as I saw these guys, I was like, that's the guy. Those are the guys that I'm playing.
Nice. Yeah, I like, and I think having like the regular size guy in there really helps the image like sell the big armor, because the idea is that like there's not a big guy in the power armor. It's just a regular size guy. He's like a pilot in the big suit of armor there. But
yeah. The
So where are we? We've talked about this before. Some of the guys that play in my shop, and since this is your design, is there like a guy sitting in the chest working at like a tank, or is he like, are his arms like into the, like, is he stretched out into like the limbs, controlling it with like impulses?
I'm not exactly sure if like, I'm not exactly sure. I mean,
I was hoping for that answer, actually.
I haven't really thought about it too much. Like I had considered doing like a cutaway shot of it. I always love like cutaway drawings and stuff.
Yeah.
Like in the mini, because this design is a little different than the mini that we ended up producing. Like it feels very similar, but slightly different. I don't know if your arm, because it's so wide, I don't know if your arms actually could extend into the arms and actually bend down without breaking your arm, so he probably has to like pilot it with like little levers or something inside. I don't really know.
Which is still great. Like I imagine like it's a World War I tank. There's like 30 levers in there.
Yeah. Yeah, like you have to move like each little foot. Yeah, I don't know.
I would guess that your feet could end up around the knees of the machine armor, and then so you're sort of standing up. Maybe there's a little seat.
Yeah.
Sort of in that.
It's a saddle. It's like a bicycle seat.
Yeah, actually, that'd be great.
I had thought maybe children would pilot them because they're smaller, and they could fit in it easier. You don't have to make it as big. And
right out of like a healthy dash of like Full Metal Alchemist.
Excellent. Sorry, just quickly, Josh says, in the War of 1812, because the Russians had to bolster their numbers. So Napoleonic Wars in 1812, when Napoleon invaded Russia, Russians had to bolster their numbers with untrained personnel, found that icons and banners with religious symbolism actually increased morale amongst the drafted.
Yeah, makes sense.
Makes sense.
And Matt Bowles, who's joined us, hi Matt, says, would love to see diesel smokestacks on this.
Yeah, the mini actually has one. So that's one of the things we added to it.
Dave, make yourself big. Make your image big.
Okay. I'll do that.
It's always Dave holding up a miniature and a thumbnail.
Or should I go to this one? There we go.
There you go. Sure. There you go. Now you'll be able to see it. See a little smokestack on the back. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, and it's got like a little diesel engine in the back, and
I'm not going to turn mine around because I've done something that I now know Mike is not going to be happy to see.
Well, it's yours, man. So
I did some little glowy bits.
It's cool, man.
So it's like I guess there'd be heat, like a heat sink or a heat what's the word I'm looking for?
Oh, radiator.
A radiator, yeah.
Radiator, yeah. Just so it's going to radiate the heat a lot better.
Yeah.
So I liked little glowy bits.
It's your mini, man.
Pat wants to know if that's a picture of you standing next to me.
It is. Well, Jake's not that wide, but he's certainly.
But I could be in the suit.
You could, yeah. You could. If this is me, just here. Oh, sorry. I need to go back to this.
Yeah, there we go.
If this is me here, yeah, Jake could be tall enough to fit in that suit. So all good. But
that's awesome.
I just want to go back one. I just want to ask about the thing in the background. Is there something I'm not allowed to know about yet?
There's really no lore or anything about that. I like big robots, so they should be in Trench Crusade. That was good enough for me.
Are you guys gonna have a separate Forge Crusade that only makes giant models that you have to order them separately off the website?
I mean, we could probably do it as a SDL pretty easily.
Yeah.
That would be pretty sick. I know somebody was building one on the Facebook group. They were building that robot. But I had seen like there's a lot of photos of like abandoned satellite dishes and things, and they have this really interesting way they kind of fall apart, where you see like kind of a framework underneath, and that's what inspired me to draw like that kind of shoulder pad that it kind of looks like cheesecloth or something, but pretty cool.
That's awesome.
It is fantastic. Not sure if Pete Heston's back in the chat, but maybe something like this as a terrain piece on one of the tables. Pete, just saying.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Awesome.
Maybe it has some like kind of ancient engine inside that they don't make anymore, and they're trying to get it back or something.
Yeah. Yep. Matt says, yeah, it could be a Wicker Man, an ancient miracle of engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah, a Wicker Man would make a pretty cool terrain piece, like the heretics like stuffing bodies in there, and that'd be cool.
Yeah. Excellent. And yep, next up. So this is another fantastic piece.
Dave, is this what you based your guys off of?
So this appears in the this is on page 75. But of the playtest rule set. It's right after the thing. But this certainly inspired me. The just the fantastic layers, the levels. There's a piece of equipment in the campaign sort of setting, which is 8 glory points to buy. So it takes you a little while to build up to that. But it's a ducal winged armor. So it's something that I'm hoping to be able to get for my my helpman during a campaign. But
okay, cool.
Yeah, but
That's cool.
Just these just everything here. There's so much. I mean, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I think I overdid it maybe slightly.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
No, not at all. But no, I think the and like you always, particularly when we're talking about miniature painting, I always think about, okay, you want to have a place on the model where your eyes can rest as you're going around. Is there too much detail? Have you put texture on sort of too many surfaces? This kind of has that going on. There's a lot of detail on all surfaces, but some of it is very subtle and like initially reads as a comfortable place to sort of rest the eyes. So like the van braces here, the halo, even the sort of the edges of the wings as they come out there. So you've got those places on the model where as you're moving around that do that. But I think this tells you so much more about the world and the setting, where it's somebody's taken the time to do all of this work, to do all of this filigree work on the armor, create all of these devotional scrolls or that kind of thing. So this is important, an important aspect of the world. So,
yeah,
this is awesome.
Cool. Thanks, man. Yeah, I like the chainmail like priestly robes, like
right,
because it's like a material you don't expect to see like priestly robes in. And I like to kind of do that a lot. So like a lot of my characters, I'll have like, it's a cloak, but it's made out of chains, or it's made out of some other weird material, and little things like that to kind of like, you're familiar with it, but it's just slightly different. That kind of like makes it feel a little fresh.
Yeah. I think going back to that, like the communicant there, you've got that, that trailing cloak, but it's of skulls and bones.
Yeah. We sadly couldn't do that on the model. We were concerned that it would be like too fragile.
Yeah.
But maybe in the future we can make one that does that. That would be cool.
Yeah. Excellent. But this was a great sort of inspiration. Obviously, the work I've done on my machine armored guys it's that silver, that damaged sort of burnished steel. Oh, look. It's this was another one of my favorites that I had to include.
Cool.
So
Dave has this guy on his desk somewhere.
it's actually upstairs in my case, my biggie case. But yeah,
Nice.
the Brazen Bull. So the working. This was another fantastic one. Obviously, a lot of almost all the war games that we work with, that we play with, that we check out, or that are developed and released in the West, don't include sort of pieces that are inspired by the Islamic faith. And this is obviously something you've gone into with the Iron Sultanate. So tell us a little bit about that, about the research that you did, and what sort of things you were working with along the way there.
Yeah. So before we had started the game with Tomas, I always thought it would be cool to include them in the world, or else it would maybe feel kind of weird that they're just like absent, you know?
No.
But I hadn't done any artwork for them until Tomas came on, and then we started talking about, you know, what could they be like, and I had some kind of really loose ideas, like there's a story in the Quran about this iron wall, you know, that appears. I'm not exactly sure if it just appears or like someone builds it, or it's like this mystical wall, and that was such a cool like idea that I was like, okay, we could maybe base a faction partially, you know, that could be an inspiration for it. And then I was looking into some of like some like Islamic stuff, like they would build like talismans. That was a big in like the golden age, in the medieval golden age, they would do that. There was sort of like I think a lot of times it's, you know, people think, oh, that's like against the rules or whatever, like to have like the magic and stuff, but that was like a big part of it back then. A lot of religions too. I mean, I even think Christianity, with like all the saints and things, like it kind of gets into some of that, not necessarily magic, but I don't know, it's just like a little different. But that was like a big part of it back then, was like this kind of magic, and it was in this kind of gray area where like the kings and stuff in like these Muslim countries, they would have like these sort of guys who were making talismans for them, like on their, like, I don't know, staff or in their,
right,
whatever you want to call it. So like it was a thing, and I just found that really interesting and kind of unique. And I found this like a PhD thesis about alchemy and like talismanry, but also this thing called takwin, which was creating artificial life. And so it was just this woman's like PhD thesis, and it was like had all these like about this guy Jabir and like the takwin creations that, you know, are in these actual books. You know, I guess theoretically you could, you know, get one of these books and you could make one yourself nowadays. I don't know if it would work or not, but so it's like really interesting subject matter, even if like there's not like a ton of information about it, because like I don't think a lot of these books get translated into English, you know. So it is really neat. The one thing I would like to do moving forward with the Sultanate is have some more, because right now it's just kind of this like we've kind of merged all the cultures together. So I would like to have like some more distinct versions of the cultures that are, you know, in that region. So like, you know, they're Persians and Mughal stuff, and
okay. Cool. Yeah, I think that'd be great. The and the work that you've done on it so far, as Jake said, I've got this guy upstairs. He's one of my favorite models in the range.
Oh, nice. My friend Chris sculpted him.
Oh, cool. Excellent. I'll say say thanks to Chris.
All right.
Awesome. And the Azeb. Yeah.
Yeah, so like the Azebs, like I was looking at a lot of like the Turkish stuff in World War One, and they don't, their uniforms were kind of goofy looking. I thought the Turkish uniforms in World War One, they had these kind of silly helmets, and sometimes they just wore like German helmets, you know. So there wasn't like a super distinct look, and the distinct look they did have, I just didn't like. So we kind of made I kind of pushed it more into the more medieval kind of vibe for these guys.
Sure.
But that gas mask is real. The box part of it is real.
Right.
And I just added those weird eyeballs on it. It's kind of interesting. But
the I think with that, like the elongation of the gas mask feel there, and the eyeballs, it gives it a bit of a almost like a amphibian or a reptilian feel.
Yeah, I was thinking of they would, in like World War II on the tanks, they would put those little headlight caps on it to not, you know.
Like, to minimize the omnidirectional lighting, so the slit would just aim straight ahead.
Yeah. Yep. So it just looks a little more armored, or you know, or like the Inuits wear the snow goggles to, you know, so they don't go snow blind and stuff. So something like that, I guess. And I had found this picture of there are these Algerian troops in like the 1800s called Zouaves. I don't know how to pronounce them, but there was a painting.
Zouave.
Yeah. Then their drip is like incredible. They look so cool. Yeah. And there was a painting of one, and he had his rifle, like, you know, jammed into his backpack just like this. And I thought that was such a cool detail. I had to include it.
The during the American Civil War, that look was super popular as well.
Yeah, I remember seeing something like that. I was like, wait, they fought, like, the Algerians are in the Civil War? It's like, no, they just stole their drip.
Yep.
Josh is like, didn't Han Solo shoot this guy?
Possibly. There's a little Greedo in it. But yeah, there was a I think there was a New York regiment they were the Fire Zouaves, because they were the firemen from New York City.
Oh, okay.
And somebody sponsored them and gave them, they were all had this wild trip going on.
That's cool.
But yeah, it was fantastic. Oh, Amos has joined us. Hi, Amos.
What's going on?
Welcome. But yeah, so the Iron Sultanate Warman was the one I painted first.
Nice.
So I have a few in the Azebs.
There's another detail. I don't know if you can zoom in on there, but that little parchment he has.
Not quite. Oh, on
his waist there. Yeah. So that's like an actual talisman.
Okay.
That it's from the Metropolitan Museum of Art. They have it. So I just kind of took the photo from it, but it's like an actual magical talisman from, like, I'm not exactly sure where the location is, but it's like a Islamic country that they were making these talismans in, you know.
I thought it was a page out of the Sultanate's uplifting primer.
Yeah.
They're like, demons are mostly small and have weak arms.
The one of the other things as well that is great that goes across is the these sort of gold there's gold armor discs and the smaller, again, I guess, talismans. And if we looking back at the Brazen Bull, they've got those similar sort of talismans embedded across it. So
Yeah,
and he's got these like weird shunts that like to like let the juice leak out or something.
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying. Back in that Willy Wonka tunnel.
Yeah.
But no, fantastic. I'm glad to hear that there's more going to be sort of more expansion of that, more refinement, I guess, of the Sultanate coming.
Yeah, that's definitely something we want to do.
Yeah. So the this is from the Black Grail faction, the Lord of Tumors. And
yeah, we need to kill this guy with one of those mega tanks.
It'd be like that whale. Did you ever see that whale they blew up on the beach after it was like rotting there for weeks?
Oh yeah, they dynamited it. Yeah. I don't want to be anywhere near this guy when he blows up.
Yep. Pete Heston says soup.
The forbidden soup.
I think I mean if we just look at this guy, like this is kind of disgusting. And then this guy collecting what's falling from his tumors is just adds to that. The piece de resistance.
Yeah.
No, and then it all comes full circle. Then you go back to the smile that he has on his face.
Right.
They're drinking the soup.
Yes. Drink my tumor juice.
No.
But so yeah, when you started working on like the Black Grail and started moving into this sort of body horror kind of aspect, what was going on? What were you thinking about?
I mean, I just love I love horror movies. I love really, gross horror movies and gory horror movies. The only horror movie I don't particularly like is they're kind of like slasher, when it's just like a human or whatever.
Okay.
Those kind of boring to me. But I love the body horror, like The Fly and all that stuff where it's just really disgusting, and that stuff's just really fun. That's all it was. I just wanted to draw like really disgusting, rotten stuff.
Well, you nailed it.
Like this guy here, it's that like this is obviously like a demon shedding the skin of the being that it was birthed.
Yeah, I don't like this guy either. I want to kill him with a tank.
Yeah, this is for the Temple of the Metamorphosis. So they like shed their human forms, and they molt into better and better forms.
Right.
I mean, it's super cool. Like the detail you have on the it's kind of xenomorphy. Like you can see that, obviously you can see some of your influences, like his legs and like all the little sort of, I don't know what you call it, like the little like circular shapes. They're up and down his legs and stuff and on his back.
Yeah. Just the tears in the skin.
Yeah. I mean, his hand seems problematic. Like, getting a mani pedi is going to be difficult.
It's gonna be expensive, definitely.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Well, for these, I've always been into bugs. Even when I was a little kid, I was really into bugs. So I like the idea of like this uncomfortable union of human and bug. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Magnificent. Sean Greason says, "Oh, crazy! Kill it with nuclear fire." Absolutely. Something a little different. This is this one of the Goetic sorcerers?
Warlock. Yeah.
Warlock.
Oh, I thought that was the Death Commando.
No. I was going to put in either the Death Commando or this one, but the Warlock.
Yeah, this is a pretty old piece. This is one of like the earliest after like the first Trench Pilgrim. This is kind of in the first maybe like 10 paintings I did.
Okay.
So it's really old at this point. So to me, I don't really like it anymore, because it's so old. But but I like the idea of it. It's a cool idea, but I think I would paint it differently now. But I do like the ridiculous pauldrons on it.
Right. Yeah, I mean they're kind of there's an echo between them and the Witchburners pauldrons, sort of style and shape.
Yeah,
but I love the one of the things I love about this is it's walking into darkness. You've got that light coming from behind the shoulder.
Well, after a long day of killing on the fields,
right? Yeah,
it's Miller time.
Yeah.
His demon wife is like, "How did it go?" And he's like, "Honey, I don't even want to get into it. If I have to kill one more person, I am just gonna snap."
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I did like the idea of them sort of striding across a battlefield, sort of unhurried.
Right.
And then like these flak shells kind of going off in the air above them. I thought it was just like a cool
idea. All of the, as Matt Bowles pointed out, the sort of the strip bare tree trunks in the background.
Yeah.
So again, just pushing that no man's land feel.
Yeah, it's a really, it's just the no man's land look is so interesting and I don't know, desolate.
Yeah,
it's so crazy to think how fast the countryside like bounced back. Like you look at all those photos, and even now you're like, so obviously that's just like a mud field, right? Like, and you're like, no, you go there and it's like green pastoral land, and there's like forests everywhere, and you're like, wait, what? Like those photos lied, and you're like, they didn't lie. You know what I mean? Like nature does not care what we're doing; it will bounce back. So
Well, I went to Verdun a couple years ago, and all the trenches are just like little mounds now. You can't really, you can tell there was something there, but like they're not. It's not distinct or anything like that anymore.
Yeah. But it's also incredible how quickly you can get to.
Oh yeah.
As well. But no, fantastic. So, this piece. So I grabbed this piece off online, and I'm not sure. I know that this guy appears in the my mind's gone blank, in the rule book, in the playtest rules, but it feels like this has been put in front of something else. Is this a fan mashup?
No, this is by me. I just I didn't have as much time to polish it as I normally do, because this is I still like the idea, and it's like really cool and evocative. I love the golden calf themes and stuff, but sure. I could have probably painted it better, but I ran out of time. So it's one of those things where, like, you know, how much time do you spend polishing it? It's always kind of like it's always a little tricky thing, because like the last 20% of polish takes a lot longer than 20% of the total time. Right. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So usually I'll try to get stuff to like 80% done, and I'm like, okay, that's like bare minimum. I could release it and be pretty happy with it. And sometimes I'll come back if I have time, but this one I was in a rush. But
okay, cool. Oh, Cat Swift has joined us. Hi, Cat. Welcome. But yeah, excellent. Peter Heston says, I love the Hollow Heart theme with my mon. The hole that can't be filled.
There's so much cool like symmetry, like symbology in this too. Like he's got the gold and the purple, so royalty, nobility kind of thing, and then you know the hammer and like all the supplicants and stuff. But then he has like the braziers as like shoulder pads almost.
Yeah,
and then it has like some Roman elements with like the laurel, but then a lot of like. Somebody wrote Babylonian in the comments. It definitely has like a really heavy like Middle Eastern vibe too, or sorry, like ancient like Mesopotamian vibe as well.
Yeah.
It's cool. Is it bad that I want him to sound like the Macho Man? Like,
yes.
Like I want him to walk out and be like, oh yeah, he's got his sunglasses on. Like I dig it. Like there's a lot. I like a lot of this.
Oh, okay.
The hammer is before they had like the way they would mint coins back in the day, before they would use these die hammers. So there's like so that was the idea, is that he's like hitting everybody in the face with a die hammer, leaving like the imprint of like what the coin would be, you know, on their head and stuff.
Okay. Nice. But yeah,
super cool.
Great. Next up, the Warwolf.
Yikes.
So this guy's part of the Heretic Legion, I think.
Again, this is why I signed up with New Antioch. We need to wipe all these things off the map. Like,
yeah,
the way to go.
Yeah, this is sort of their big bad monster. It kind of each faction kind of has one, except maybe New Antioch doesn't have like a huge guy. They got the mechanized infantry, but.
Yeah, some multiple machine armor is good.
We do have a design for super heavy infantry though.
Oh.
But yeah, this guy, like I did a bunch of designs for him, and then I found a wire cutter from World War I that had like this really distinct shape, and they would mount it on like a rifle.
Okay.
And so I just modeled his jaws after the wire cutter, you know, because I thought it was cool.
Awesome.
It's crazy. I love all the like the stamped images on the plates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are all like the satanic markings and things.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
That's Dave's favorite.
But yeah, it's spectacular. And I love the there's some cool variations in there as well on the rust.
Dave, this is what your mechanized guy is standing on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, let me just switch back to that for a sec. Where is he? There we go.
Yeah, the big guy. Yeah, there we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cool.
And the
Cool. Okay.
so that's the head of it. You can't hold it properly and point. Where are we going? Other side. Okay. So yeah, that's the head of it. And in the model has a big piece of like a high beam sticking out of the ground that he's sort of standing on.
Mm-hmm.
So I incorporated that into the base as well.
Yeah, it's cool.
Extra rusty stuff. But yeah, I do love it. I haven't faced one on the battlefield yet, but I am terrified to do so.
I hear they're pretty nasty.
Yeah. Yep. Not almost as nasty as the next model. Next image.
Nice.
So yeah. So she's kind of become the sort of the poster girl for the game.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. I don't like. I'm not exactly sure what everyone gravitates to the artillery witch so much, but I'm glad they like it.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Just quickly in the chat, Sean Gleason says, "What? You cybernetically enhanced werewolf?" Yes, indeed. Peter Heston said, "Mike, how much of the lore for units, factions, in the world, etc., comes from you, along with the art, and how much is, hey Thomas, I made this cool painting, and then the blanks get filled in?"
Like a lot of the stuff, like all the factions, apart from the court and the Iron Sultanate, I had come up previously before we had started the game. So like New Antioch and the Trench Pilgrims, and they all had like some lore and things, but as time goes on, it's become more of like a team project, of course. So it's a bit mixed. Like sometimes like I'll draw a cool painting and we'll just put it in, and then sometimes there'll be a request from Tomas, like for the Black Grail, there was the Herald of Beelzebub. He needed like a fast moving ranged unit. So that's what he told me. And so I drew the Herald of Beelzebub, so it's kind of a mix. Like lately, because we've been working on the book so much, there hasn't been a lot of time. I haven't had a lot of time to like work on any of the lore stuff, which is kind of like the stuff I like to do the most. So hopefully in the future, I'll have more time to do that. But yeah, it's a bit of a mix.
Excellent. And you'll be working with folks like Graham McNeil and Gav Thorpe for some of the additional sort of lore expansion.
Yep. And then Andy Chambers is doing some stuff too, and he's doing some rule stuff, I think, as well. But
that guy gets around.
He does. Cool. Sorry, the next thing I was going to say, so Patrick Milan in the chat said, oh, hey, Patrick, welcome, says the suspense and sense of hopelessness that every faction has is just awesome.
Nice.
Dave Humble says, this here is for you. Catch. I love the, I'll tell you what, Jeff says, she the bomb. Absolutely. Peach tells you such a story. But the yeah, there is just something about that. I guess the telekinesis is always a power that is exciting and frightening at the same time.
Yeah,
and I guess when you mix it with like a 800-pound bomb,
yeah,
it's gonna catch people's.
Scott says, in a full circle move, do you think that Blizzard will ask to buy the rights to make an RTS style game of Trench Crusade? And I think they will, and then the world will split in two.
I don't think they will.
I don't know. But yeah, Nick Matsu says the artillery, which is Trench Crusade to me. And Matt says like trying to get a Mona Lisa vibe in there. So that's pretty cool. Yeah,
I mean, for her, originally she wasn't called the Artillery Witch because, like, technically she doesn't have like an artillery shell. Originally she was called the Ordnance Witch, but I felt artillery witch rolled off the tongue a little better, you know?
Yeah.
So I went with that instead, even though if it doesn't make like exact sense, but.
Well, I mean, she could throw anything, including like any sort of artillery. It doesn't have to be this.
It's true. She could, yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe have one that's like throwing diseased cows into behind the walls or something. It would be pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. My question for you is the hat, the mask hat.
Mm-hmm.
Where did that come from?
I was thinking of because I liked the sort of, was it the 17th century kind of like Dutch look of like the neck ruff and stuff.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking, I did a lot of like different head designs for her before I got this one, and I eventually was starting thinking of you know, women in the medieval ages had some like really elaborate headgear, like wimples and things. I don't know all the names of them, but like, you know, you think of like a royal court woman and they'd have like these really, you know, elaborate headgear. So that was kind of modeled after one of those, you know, but just like in iron.
Right.
So
yeah. Fantastic. Obviously on the on my desk here. I'm not going to enlarge it for this one, Jake, because
nice.
But I have the mind.
Well, right now it's about the same size as the one on the screen, so
almost. But yeah, so this school bus. So I will be painting this up.
Nice.
I'm trying to I'll get that done before Nova.
Oh, cool.
Better check it out there.
This is like when you see her on the battlefield. This, I'm just going to drive my my dirigible right into her. That's what happens to the Hindenburg in this universe. They drop it on her.
Yeah. Alan Panicle has joined us. Hi, Alan. Glad you made it. Pete Haston says, what speaks to me is how casually she's floating with the bomb. There's an incredible sense of dread and power, like she's just going to send it across the battlefield with a flick of her wrist. Absolutely.
Yeah. We kind of struggled a little bit, like, because there's really no way to do that in a mini.
Right.
So someone had made like a fan made one where like the bomb was attached to like the tip of her headgear.
Yep.
And we were worried that it, like, if we did that, it would break. So we had to do a slightly different pose. But
I feel like a cool way to do this would be almost like how like Jeff Smith, when he did his floating jet bikes, and Dave, when you did yours with like the lightning bolts and stuff.
Right.
Like you could have like power crackling off her hand. Like if you were going to build this, I could see you doing that. And then so it's attached by that, but it reads as like that's like lightning and stuff arcing off of the bomb casing instead of you know.
Yeah. I've seen some people do it with basically like magical fire or smoke, that kind of thing.
That's what we ended up going with some kind of smoke, etc. But it's like one of those tricky things where, because I'm from the video game industry where there's no restrictions on that sort of thing. It's nothing's physical. That has to be like a product that, you know, gets shipped to somebody without breaking, you know.
No, awesome. But no, she's absolutely fantastic.
Mike was like, this is gonna look so cool in game, and the guys are like, it's physical. Remember when you're like, oh right.
Well, all this stuff she was designed before there was ever a game, so it's like a lot of the stuff is like that where I was just drawing whatever I thought was cool, and now it's like, nah, how are we gonna do that? I don't know.
Well, I think that's great that because that puts the issue in the there's a developmental stage along the way. It's not the issue doesn't exist in the creative part of the
right. Yeah.
Having that creativity.
Mike has the perfect alibi. He's like, guys, that's a Q&A problem. Like I just work in development. Like I don't have that's a you problem.
You problem, not a me problem. I think that's great. This guy, I found this image as well, and obviously I love it, but can I ask where this guy might fit in at some point?
This guy's from Path of Exile too. He's one of the bosses.
Oh, okay, right here.
But I really like this design. I really think it's really cool. The whole idea with him is that he's like they had, I don't remember the story they told me, but they're basically like being reborn. So the idea is like he sheds his old gross skin and has like the new fresh skin underneath.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, so it was pretty fun boss fight in the game.
I might say I apologize. I don't play any video games at all.
It's all good.
So Jake,
Dave doesn't know what video games are.
I know that they exist, but
he's like, you guys are talking about Pong, right? Or Space Invaders?
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to do a variant of this guy for a court model, I think.
Oh yeah. His weapons are really cool.
Yeah,
like the axe things are based on I think it's a Mughal weapon of some kind.
Yeah, it's like a Mughal. It almost it's usually sharp, like a point instead of curved. But yeah, like as soon as I saw it, I was like, that looks familiar.
Oh
yeah,
there we go. Yeah, and so each of the blades is those lines on them are kind of fluted, right?
Yeah,
they're basically to give it more strength.
I guess, or sometimes they use it so it doesn't stick in the body when you stab somebody.
Right. Nice. Good to have that info too. But yeah. Sorry.
I was gonna say, because like when you stab somebody, if it was like perfectly flat, like it would get stuck in the wound because it's like a suction thing. There's no gap. There's no gap to like the air in, you know. Okay. So they would put those in there so you could you wouldn't get stuck.
There we go. Sorry, Hank in the chat says Dave's video game knowledge pitted against his Marvel comic knowledge. There we go. I feel like
he's getting better at Marvel comics because at least he knows the movies.
Yeah, I was going to say everybody's going to lose in that one. Nobody wins. Pete, I know this is not the Hulk. But, yeah, I do love it. Next up, I pulled a couple of other pieces, but so this is a piece that you guys commissioned Paul Bonner.
Yeah,
the amazing Paul Bonner.
I was gonna say this looks like Mutant Chronicles to me, and it's because it's Paul Bonner.
Yeah, yeah, we were really lucky that Paul agreed to paint some stuff for us, and he's done a few additional paintings for the book as well. And he's just like an amazing, super talented guy.
Yeah,
and this piece is awesome.
I love his style. Everything he does just always looks super cool.
Yeah, it just has like a very, I don't even know, like everything feels very solid, and like the shadows and lighting on it feels really I don't know, like realistic and accurate, and it's incredible.
I think part of the reason his stuff is always so iconic is because, to your point, his light work is always super accurate. Everything feels like it could be real, but then he does a really healthy dose of like comic book superhero like poses and stuff going on. So you're always like, that's crazy. But if it happened, that's what it would look like. Like he's really good at that.
But yeah.
I think when you were talking about the light and the shadow, this area here, sort of in shadow behind the wheel, which is sort of slamming down on Sinia's shoulder, just looks, yeah,
it's amazing.
It captures that. Fantastic.
That's so cool.
Excellent.
Yeah, when he started working on this, he was excited because everyone always wants him to paint like dwarves with big noses, you know. So he was excited to do something a little different.
Yeah, that's great. You just imagine you get sort of stuck in that sort of.
That's why he did it. You guys called him, and you're like, can you paint something? He's like, it better not be a dwarf, and you're like, there's no dwarves, and he's like, I'll do it.
How about you paint these two enormous dudes with no faces? That'd be fantastic. But absolutely awesome. And you've got a bunch of other folks who are doing some pieces, right? For doing some artwork for the book.
Yeah. Let's see. We got Adrian Smith did some.
Of course you do. This is right in his wheelhouse.
Des Hanley did
Awesome.
some. Now I'm worried I'm going to leave some people out. Martin McCoy did some.
Yep.
Let's see. My friend Chander did some. Moritz Krebs, who goes by Black Crab Art.
Yep.
He did some. Who else? I know I'm leaving people out at this point. Obviously, John Blanche did some. Dave Gallagher did some.
Any Mark Gibbons?
Oh yeah, Mark Gibbons, of course. Yeah.
Yep.
He did some. Yep. He's actually working on. I needed a few more pieces, and Mark's working on some of those right now, which is really cool. Let's see who else. And then our graphic designer Victor is doing some sort of woodcut-esque looking illustrations. I don't know. You guys probably saw at the convention AdeptiCon he had made a like a lino cut print of that heretic.
Oh
Trooper
yeah,
guy.
that was awesome. Dave's got one.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so he's doing some illustrations in that style for the book, just real small ones. Yeah, very cool.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Thanks for the shine.
There you go.
yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, and when you mentioned Des Hanley there, I was like, there was I can't remember who posted it, but it was posted on Instagram, and I was like, "Oh, this piece is fantastic! I love all the bits and pieces of it." And it was as if it felt like he'd just finished it. And then when I was looking back through the playtest rules, it was like, "Oh no, there it is! It's been staring me in the face the whole time. I just hadn't scrolled past that page." And then somewhere else in the playtest rules, there's a little like his work in progress sketch of that piece. And it's like, oh, fantastic.
Yeah, Des is awesome illustrator and designer.
Yeah, it was fantastic stuff. But this last piece of art that I've got here is a piece of fan art from Fro Jasilic.
It's really cool.
From DeviantArt. Yeah, it was just like, this is a cool sort of piece of fan art. It's like, let me take my favorite models or my favorite designs and have them fighting across a trench.
Yeah, it's super cool looking. And this is one of those things where like I would never attempt a painting like this because like they're really hard to do. And having all these people like in interesting poses and stuff is like really difficult to paint. So it's cool to see people doing it and doing such a good job.
He's obviously a student of your school. He's got the big concrete cross in the background and like the mustard gas atmosphere.
Yep. I think my favorite though is the little prisoner who's about to detonate and get everybody.
Right. Blew them all up.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. I think that's one of the that's the end of the presentation there. I think that's the one of my favorite things about everything that you guys are doing is that it goes back. It's that old thing that GW used to do a long time ago, which is that invitation to create. It's here's a bunch of really cool ideas. Here's a bunch of really cool things, some great artwork, some fantastic lore, some cool minis, but go out and make your own stuff and have fun in the world.
Yeah.
It seems like you guys have that kind of from the ground up though with your whole design philosophy, because it's like you had a bunch of cool art that you're like, I'm just going to do this for me. Oh. And then, you know, you and Tomas decided to do the game, and it's like, oh, well, I'm going to use all this to influence like game design. But then it's like it works both ways. Like he was like, hey, I need a fast moving thing for this faction. You're like, cool, I'll make a cool art for that. And then it's like, hey, I made this cool art thing. And he's like, oh, I'm going to use that as a piece in the game. And you've taken that whole like kind of sharing mentality and passed it on to like the whole idea of the game, which is you can make your own guys and there's like lore in the factions and you can have stuff your own way and have cool art. But then you also have, you know, like who said it? Like Matt was like, it's a real who's who of Gothic art. Like you've gotten all these other people who are like, oh yeah, my schedule's really full. Like Paul Bonner is notoriously like up to his eyebrows in gigs, and he doesn't usually take on new stuff. So the fact that you were like, hey, we do this thing, and he's like, there's no dwarves, and you're like, no, it's like giant robots and stuff. It's like, yeah, and he's like, oh, cool, I'll do it. So like, the fact that you've got him and Mark, and you've got Adrian, like just people who you're like, oh my god, like of course their stuff, it makes sense, it fits right in. But also, I'm sure that you guys were like, yeah, just do something that fits into the universe, kind of thing.
Yeah, like a lot of the art, I know for like the Paul Bonner piece, it's like what you're gonna tell like Paul Bonner what to draw, like no way. Yeah, like the even I mean, I love seeing all the creativity that people come up with. That's like, it's kind of weird because like I started this whole thing out and it's like it was mine, it's just mine, and now it's like now it kind of just belongs to everybody. So it's a little different now, where I'm like, okay, so the things are like changing in that way, but it's so cool to see. I love seeing all the creativity, and I think Trench Crusade has like something that's nice about it is because it is based in the real world. Everyone's kind of got their own like sort of favorite bit of history. If it's like, maybe it's World War I, or you like World War II scout cars, or whatever it is, everyone's got their little like bit of history that they enjoy. So you could like just cram it into Trench Crusade if you want. And the aesthetic's kind of easy to replicate because it's just like World War stuff with medieval helmets on it, so it's like not too difficult.
I think somebody had in the booth at AdeptiCon said, who knew that the Saleh helm was going to be the next big thing?
Alan in the chat said, I met Paul Bonner once. Paul Bonner is Old Man Wolverine.
He just kind of looked like Wolverine. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Mike, it's been awesome chatting with you. So cool to get an understanding of how your mind works and how you create your art, and where Trench Crusade has come from, and what you guys are doing with it, and how you're sort of building on everything you've done already. It's super cool. But would you be able to hang around for a bit and have a look at all of the cool pieces of art that you've been posting?
Yeah, let's do it.
Fantastic. Excellent. Let me just pull that up.
Would you guys mind if I grab a drink real quick?
No, go ahead.
No worries, go for it.
I'll be right back.
So we'll wait until Mike gets back before we get started. But yeah, I'm going to be up late tonight, I think, doing some painting.
Awesome.
Yep.
I gotta hammer out what I'm gonna do. Are you bringing any Trench Crusade stuff to Nova?
Yeah, for sure.
So if I can get my stuff done, I'll bring it.
Awesome. And you're gonna do some new Antioch?
Yeah, I think so. I still don't understand how to, like, again, I just started getting into it, so like I'm trying to figure out like how much stuff do I need? Like, is there a points thing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, are we doing a crusade? I know that all the guys I've talked to the store are saying that like you play a crusade and the idea is you get more points.
Yeah.
But like if we're just playing like a game, do we just like start from like scratch kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, the standard is either like, I think the standard sort of one-off game is like 900 ducats. So essentially, have a look at your list. You have to take a lieutenant. You can take in the new Antioch. You can take like yeoman, combat, and who your grunts, your combat engineers, who are kind of a step up from them, or your shock troopers. Pick some of those out first. It's more sort of a grab them together into a war band, and then start writing your list, work out what you need to drop, what you need to pick up. Oh, I've got 5 more ducats. I can add a bayonet, that kind of thing. Okay. So we can get ready for I can help you get ready for Nova, gaming at Nova.
This, by the way, is rad. Didn't Adam show this off before?
I'm not sure. I think it was might have been a work in progress, but
okay.
Yeah. So we thought we'd wait until you got back, Mike. But
this is the new Dynamite Witch, right? This is action.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
I love the dynamite in the teeth there. That's really cool.
Yeah. I love that there's a stick of dynamite like strapped to the bone.
Yeah, there's one tucked in her shoulder. There's like a bunch on her back hip.
Yep.
She's
this
like,
like
she's
a-
like a she's like one of the explosive squigs.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. But
is this like a kit bash or?
no, I think this is this is probably like a 75 millimeter.
Oh, okay. It's really
Uh,
cool.
But yeah, I'm not sure who makes it. But yeah, Matt Bowles is saying I get an 80s vibe from this.
Oh, I'm trying to think what this is from.
I can't remember. Adam might have mentioned it in the post. There are a few other photos of this in the post, but
I'll
really
find
good.
it.
Brilliant work there, Adam. That's right.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's awesome.
Adam also posted this guy.
This guy's great.
Yeah,
That's cool.
you know, much more down
His armor seems like it's missing some essential elements, but
Oh, you
he
mean
looks
like protecting the heart?
yeah, like all the really vulnerable stuff.
Right across the middle there.
He's like, I don't want to get stabbed in the tummy, and I want to keep my shoulders good.
But yeah,
That looks cool. I love those big double axes like that have like
Yeah.
a really old school vibe
Yeah.
to them.
Like
Which I really enjoy.
He-Man battle axe.
Yeah,
yeah,
they're really cool.
no, good. I love the work that Adam's done on the sort of the bear fur at the top.
Yeah, it's really nice.
He's
And the-
always
and
so
the
good at
face, too.
textures. He's so good at textures. Like the textures on his Vamritzes, like it looks like wrapped cloth, and then like the textures on the pants and on his skin and on the rocks, like everything has a different texture to it.
Yeah, yeah, looking great. Nice work there, Adam.
That's awesome.
Next up, Alan. I'm not sure if Alan's still in the chat, but excellent. Painted up.
Everybody loves orcs.
Yeah,
the Wrecker orcs.
those are cool. I love like the big bright yellow armor is very cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Bad Moon's gonna bad moon.
Yeah.
I think when Alan was asking about what was it? Alan asked about the damage on the shield. Maybe he was thinking about this and whether he did the sponge chipping around the edges.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Possibly. But I do love the these like hydraulic meat tenderizers.
Yeah, I could see him like crushing somebody's skull like in between them. That's cool.
Actually, yeah, you get that explains the big splatter down the front here. But yeah, Alan says he's still here technically working, so we'll let you back to work there.
Yeah, those guys are great, and I love the old like the checkerboard stuff.
Yeah,
I love that stuff.
it's always cool.
That's proper orc when you have like the either dags or like the checks.
Yeah. And Alan, yeah, assembling this.
The Speedy Mart.
What's that?
It's a Speedy Mart.
Yep, Speedy Mart. Almost Quickie Mart. Not quite Quickie Mart. But yeah, Alan, we saw last week he's building this up for a game that he's running later in the year with his club.
Is it for like a sort of a modern setting?
Yeah, it's like a zombie apocalypse.
Oh,
Is it-
okay. That's
Is it
cool.
me or is it just the way the photo is? Does it look like it's canted, like it's thicker on the left side than it is on the right?
I think it's just the roof isn't on completely straight.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
My brain was trying to autocorrect that, and I was like, no, that's
Yep, I'm mainly saying that because I think the you can see that sort of exposed
Yeah.
area
That makes
there,
sense.
not over on this side. Yeah, there we go. Roof not on properly.
right on.
But, last week Amos posted a photo of his one of his Cerastus nights, and the way that the photo had been taken, the lighting at the top made it look a bit flat. So he shared this.
We commented on it back and forth. I was like, I knew I could count on you. I knew that you did it. I even said it last episode. I was like, he probably painted it. It's the photo.
But
That's really cool.
yeah, the
Is that a transfer or is that hand painted?
That's a transfer.
I think
Okay.
it's a transfer, yeah.
He weathered it up. but-
Okay, yeah, that's really cool.
I hate it when it's like whenever I move the mouse over it, it tends to move away. But I think the I don't know, Amos, you'll have to let us know if the those gouges are actual physical gouges as well, or just painted on.
The ones on the back look like they have a shadow to them.
Yeah.
So I think the bigger ones look like they're actually proper gouged in.
Yep.
But
We'll find out. If he says they're painted, it's like, yes, you painted them very well. But
just painted on, he says.
It's impressive.
There you go.
Well, these are great. I love the weathering work on the armor plate where you can see like the different color gradations of like the metal.
Yeah, that looks really
Awesome.
cool.
Nice one. Excellent work, Amos. Very cool. Chris Gorka. Chris is working on some more Dark Angels.
Some Ravenwing.
Ravenwing Outriders. Nope. He's looking
Ravenwing is easily the coolest of the Dark Angels.
Okay. I would say Deathwing, but
I would also say Deathwing. But these guys are cool.
I just love Ravenwing because like they're still painted like Dark Angels. They're black.
Oh, like the original Dark Angels. Okay.
And then I love I don't know if you guys remember the comic. I think it's who's the artist? There's the Deathwing comic. It was in like Inferno and stuff, and their like battle cry is speed kills.
Yeah, these guys are cool. I love the Space Marine bikes.
Yeah, the new ones, the new Outrider bikes they're so nice.
Yeah. They're so chunky. It's like, how does this turn? What's the ground clearance?
Doesn't matter.
It's a Judge Dredd bike. Yeah, that's an R&D problem. That's not.
Again, I need to suspend my disbelief and just appreciate.
Looks cool.
I like to assume that because of the cowling, of the cowling and the forks, I like to think that when they turn the wheel, the whole cowling like swivels. Like that's the only thing that would make any sense. So
yeah, I'm sure it works. I have no doubt.
Yeah, it definitely works.
But fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great. Like you don't want to get hit by that bike.
I love the big wing on the back too. It's kind of got like the Hussar vibe, which is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, looking great there, Chris. Chris also, speaking of Deathwing, putting up Deathwing Land Raider.
This is
That's
awesome.
very cool. I love the bone white kind of armor. Looks so cool.
Yeah.
Crusader. Now again, technically the weapon sponsors are in the wrong spot, but
they're too far back.
This is an eternal debate.
Yeah.
I don't really play 40K, so I don't know any of the rules for this. What are, like the things on the front look like the ERA armor you'd see on like a Russian tank. Is that what they are?
The squares, those are so in the original rules I think this came out in like 5th edition. So when that was originally made, the idea was that you would drive into combat, and then if you were going to assault out of it, those would explode, and they're supposed to be anti-personnel mines, and they do a bunch of damage before you go into combat. And then in all the successive editions, they've changed it. So then they made it so like it counted as like frag grenades because Terminators don't have grenades. So it counted as grenades. So if you assaulted, you always counted as going first because we had grenades. So even if you assaulted into cover or whatever, you counted as having grenades. So like you always went first. I don't think they do anything in the new rules. It just looks cool. I think it's built into its profile. It might get like impact hits or something. But yeah, originally it was supposed to be like explosive tiles that would be on the front of the vehicle, and they would, because you drive up, they would explode, and then you drop the ramp, and then you get massacred by Terminators. So.
Fantastic. It's really Alan Borthwick says came out in 3rd edition just in time for the New Zealand Grand Tournament.
Okay.
It's kind of frightening. So that was probably 2001.
The assault cannon was the best. Like the fact that it had an assault cannon on the front, you were like, oh my god, because the rules for the assault cannon were so disgusting in 3rd and 4th edition.
They were. Luis has joined us as well. Good to see you.
So like on the front, there's like the sword with the angel wings. Is that like part of the kit, or is that like something was added on afterward? Or
I think that's part of the. I think those are.
I think that's part of the Dark Angels vehicle sprue now.
Okay.
I think unless Chris had an old school set of Forge World doors and platforms, because Forge World used to make like specific ones. Like he has the doors with the Dark Angel on it.
Yeah, I see that
on the side, like the Spectre with the wings. So it could be that he had these from one of the door kits.
Yeah, that's what I think it might be. I think it might be a Forge World one. Mainly because it's got those the purity seals on the front here.
Yeah,
but
super cool though. Yeah, that thing is nasty.
Looking great.
It's original rules. When you pulled up and you're like, it has hurricane bolters, and you're like, what's a hurricane bolter? And you're like, it's basically 6 bolters on either side that you can rapid fire, and you're like, wait, what? And it's like, yeah, so it'll get 24 bolter shots before you assault, and you're like, what? Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it looks ridiculous and awesome, so I think that's great.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah, Scott says, yeah, when those came out, they had metal hurricane bolters. They were really.
Oh yeah, the conversion kit. The conversion kit was a nightmare. So the assault cannon, the twin-linked assault cannon, the multi-melta, the anti-personnel explosive, and then all of the hurricane bolters. That was all metal. The rest of the kit was plastic.
Yeah, it was terrible. But it's all plastic now, which is great.
We built one of those for the store, and I had to pin every single hurricane bolter.
I'm sure. Chris also painted up. He said this is the second Angron that he's worked on.
Yeah, I thought he painted one a while ago. So yeah,
it's awesome.
He looks great.
Yeah, I love the bronze armor. It's really nice.
There's some elements of this. We were talking about the Prussian model with the wings.
Mm-hmm.
The finish on the like the altar piece over the top of it. It's it's a sort of very similar sort of colors and or shading to this.
That's great.
That's great. Yeah, Chris is so good at doing that like comic book capture. So like the red is like super vibrant and his metals are super bright. But like that sword, the heat on that sword, like that sword reads such a cool way.
Yeah. Yeah. Great work there, Chris. It's beautiful.
I also love that they gave him a dinosaur tail.
All right. Yeah.
Like I don't remember in the books, I don't remember him having like an ankylosaur tail, but whoever sculpted this was like, I'm gonna give him a dinosaur tail.
Yeah.
Couldn't hurt.
Excellent.
If I was Angron, what would I want? A dinosaur tail.
Exactly.
Yeah. Next up, Sulin has painted up some. He's working on a historical commission.
Cool.
So we've got these cool Crusaders, a little bit of some Cataphracti style armor.
Yeah, I love that.
Those are cool.
Yeah,
really good. And he also shared some photos of them in battle.
Dang.
So I'm guessing
I they're in the back, like, okay, guys, get going.
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing that means that sort of whatever system they're being used for their characters that you can move between.
They're like, come on, guys, those heretics aren't going to kill themselves. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's get moving. But oh, sorry. Yeah, they look great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Was that like that one has like a bishop's mitre on? Is that like a historically accurate thing?
I am going to say I don't know. I also am going to say I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
Yeah, but yeah, there would be some would have been some bishops that went on crusade.
That's the battle bishop.
The battle. But no, great work there, Sulin.
I love the padded the padded
the quilted
like barding, the padded barding on the horses as well is super cool.
Yeah.
Like some just have regular cloth barding, and then the battle bishop has like chainmail barding, and then the other two guys he has mixed. It's a chainmail like coif on the horse, and then and then padded, and then the other guy is all padded with the chamfron on the head. Like it's super rad.
I love the chainmail, like the full chainmail barding on the horse. Is really cool.
I knew you'd like that.
Yeah, I'm curious how much it weighed. It probably like a couple 100 pounds is my guess.
Yeah. I was gonna say that it's gonna be like 300 maybe. Yeah, that's huge. But yeah, awesome stuff. Next up, Jeff. So Jeff
Smith looks weird. I thought he was older than this.
Jeff. Well, his name online is the Old Wolf, but no, this is his grandson.
Nice.
And his grandson wanted to do some painting on some Lego. So he wanted to paint up a minifig in
that's cool.
Squid Game sort of tracksuit style.
Nice.
So
that's cool.
There we go.
That's pretty good.
That's really good.
So yeah, looks absolutely fantastic. And yeah, Pete says that poor horse, talking about the one that has to carry the but yeah, looks great. Nice work there, Jeff. And as I mentioned earlier, I unfortunately didn't have a chance to get your latest Deathwing on the show, so we'll see those next week.
Mike, you'll have to check them out. Like if you like Terminators, they're pretty great.
I do love them.
Jeremy doing some Warzone stuff for us here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So these are Rangers, is that right?
Yeah, those are Venusian Rangers. I mean, who doesn't like cloak dudes with skulls on? These guys are great.
Very cool.
Yeah, those skull masks are cool. I just love that sort of the extended kind of look at the bottom.
Yeah,
how it flares out like that.
Yeah.
Well, and the I guess the story behind that is, I mean, and you can ask Paul Bonner yourself, but the idea is that they've got they have all their breathing tubes and everything. Like the tubes go in, and that it's the whole breathing mask, and they just built it into the skull mask.
Yeah, it's cool.
These are looking good. Terrain's looking good too. I can work with those plastic plants. Yeah, nice work, Jeremy. That's great.
Dig it.
Next up, Kelly.
Okay, so Dave, who is this?
On the right is War Machine.
Yep.
I do not know who is on the left.
That's Bullseye.
That's Batman.
Is Batman?
Yeah.
Wait, Bullseye. When you say Bullseye, you mean who was Bullseye played by?
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell, right? Okay.
I mean, Colin Farrell's Bullseye is a terrible version of Bullseye.
Okay.
Like he's playing a character named Bullseye. He's not playing Bullseye. That is such a weird take on Bullseye.
Okay.
But yeah, that's Bullseye. Bullseye is a mercenary who has the unerring ability to not miss.
Okay. Regardless of what he's throwing.
Or shot, or
Right. Okay. But yeah, War Machine on the right.
Yeah, I love War Machine.
So
we were talking the other day. I was talking to Jirogi, another XGW guy. We were talking about the scene in Iron Man 2 where every single scene that Sam Rockwell is in, he steals. And the scene where he's talking to the military about what to put on the suit is like the best scene ever.
Excellent. Matt Bold says you can tell it's Batman by the utility belt.
Yeah,
that's fair. Yep. That's fair.
Absolutely.
You just got to green stuff on some little some little bat ears, and then
that'd be great. Excellent. Oh, there we go. Kelly has joined us and said it was the early 2000s. All villains had to be a Joker clone.
That's true.
Excellent. But Kelly has also painted up Wolverine.
That's cool.
Dave knew who this was. All right.
Yeah.
He's in the old costume.
But yeah, it just looks fantastic. Love the work you've done on the musculature there. I mean, when it comes down to it, Wolverine's all muscles and blades, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. But yeah, it looks awesome. And actually picking out the teeth as well. So you've got those canines showing that mouth.
I always have a soft spot for the tan and brown costume.
Right. Okay.
Because that's what he was. The first time I read a comic, that's what Wolverine was wearing.
Right.
Is he standing on a sentinel's hand or something?
Yeah.
That's cool. Wow.
If you get, there's like 4 different X-Men and there's like a terrain piece, and if you buy all of them, it's a whole ruined Sentinel.
Oh, cool.
Like there's one like Colossus is like holding up like I think like an arm or a leg or something, and then there's like a gas station that like the body has like fallen into. Ooh. And then like Wolverine standing on the hand.
That's cool.
So what you're saying is I can assemble another Sentinel.
You totally could. You absolutely could. There's a free Sentinel. Some assembly required.
Some assembly required. Awesome. But yeah, looks great. Nice work, Kelly.
He's awesome.
Fantastic. Next up, Christian Simonson.
That's cool.
And this awesome ash waste.
This is one of the ash waste like bug rider dudes.
Yep. Yeah.
Riding the giant like sand cricket thing.
Yeah. The like gradients on the like that carapace plate there looks really cool.
Yeah. I think Christian painted this a little while ago, but yeah, I think he had a lot of fun with he thinned down some contrast paints, and while they were still wet, sort of dropped in other colors.
Oh, neat.
You get that sort of spread. But yeah, it does look fantastic.
That's so good.
Awesome work there, Christian.
Christian's like light work is always super cool.
Yeah. He's also shared, I think this is one of his latest models.
Oh yeah, this is
Who is it?
What's his name?
Oh, she was on the other foot now.
Well, he's a dirty heretic, so I don't really care. But it's
it's Tybalt Ma.
Yeah. I wanted to say Tyvar, but I was like, that's not right. Yeah, he's like the 19th captain of the Sons of Horus.
Yep. But absolutely cool. I think Tybalt. I think he's one of the well, they're all like brothers, but one of the twins that are known as either or.
Oh, nice.
I can't remember which one he is, but yeah, he does look spectacular.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
And those the glowing sort of Horus eyes.
Is this like? Is this 30K or not?
Yeah, 30K.
Yep, 30K.
So are they like evil yet or no?
Oh yeah.
They are.
Well,
okay.
You can technically run Loyalist Sons of Horus if you want to. Every faction can run either way, but a bunch of the characters and certain units have keywords. So like, I'm pretty sure that Tybalt has a traitor keyword. So if you run Loyalist Sons of Horus, you can't run him.
Oh, okay.
But then they have guys like Loken has the Loyalist keyword. So if you want to run Loyalist Sons of Horus, which I would just do as Luna Wolves, but if you run them as Loyalists, you can run him. You can't run him as a traitor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's a good game. I like Horus Heresy.
It does look
It's
awesome.
great. I like that he did like the inverted eyes. He did the black with like the white pinpricks on them.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
It does look awesome.
So if you weren't sure if he was evil.
No, you can definitely tell.
the red glow in the eyes.
You're like, he doesn't seem like a good guy. He doesn't read like a good guy.
Yeah.
Dave Hummel has confirmed he is actually the either of the two. So
nice.
Fantastic. But beautiful work there, Christian. Loving it.
So good.
Luis. Yeah.
Nice.
Got Ulthrak Blackheart. Was it Ulthrak Blackheart?
Ulftech Blackhawk.
Painted, finished up. Looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
So rad.
Love those,
There's so much going on in this model.
there is. It's ridiculous.
I don't know what that gun does. I don't want it pointed at me, but I don't know what it does. Like,
I don't know. I'm sure that there's going to be electricity arcing between these 2 points.
probably. Sure.
Stage.
I like how he's got like a squig bipod on it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a technical. It's quite technical.
Yeah.
Yep. It's mainly because everybody knows that squigs are the most stable thing in.
Yeah. I love the skulls too. Impaled on the spikes there is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they look great. Are they from the Battlefield trophies set?
I know that I know Louis bought like at least one box of that.
Right.
Because that's why he's got like all the extra skulls in there. You can see him kind of cramped in there.
Yeah.
That trophies box is so cool. There's so much neat stuff in it.
Yeah. But no, beautiful work there, Louis.
He says it's a recoil squig.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Fantastic. And Louise is also starting work on some Warhammer Old World pieces. So this is a Dwarf King on being carried on his.
Ooh, yeah.
Field.
Yeah, he used to be a named character.
Yeah, I can't remember which.
Thorgrim?
Was it Thorgrim Grudgebearer?
Maybe, but I know he had like a throne.
He had a throne, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not him. It's the is it
No,
Thane? It's like Thane Alric or something.
I'm not sure.
Oh man, that's gonna drive me nuts. Let me look real quick.
Yeah, look it up. Look it up.
I do love the Warhammer dwarves. They're super cool.
Yeah, yep. They're all beard and axes.
Mm-hmm. I actually just bought some 10mm dwarves to just have. I guess probably never paint, but I got them.
Fantastic. But no, we look forward to seeing this, Lois. Excellent. Mark Maxey. So there's a guy in Australia.
It's King Ulrich.
King Ulrich. Okay.
King Ulrich and Shield Bearers.
Right. There we go.
I like that he's like, hold me up on my shield so I can hit that guy in the face with my axe.
Excellent. So moving on, Mark Maxey's done some conversion work. So there's a guy in Australia who sells minis as Wereweevil minis. There's a whole bunch of sort of chibi style chaos models. But Mark's been doing some work with him for quite a while. That's just doing some awesome conversion work, putting this guy on a slug.
I like that angry thing
standing
coming
on
out of the thing on his back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's something wild there. What was the question, Mike?
Is he like standing on it, or is he like fused to the slug, or I can't quite tell from this angle.
I don't know. It could be both.
Yeah, I hope it's both.
Yeah.
He's a slug centaur.
I like the old because the old Terminators kind of had shoulder pads like that made like almost like a a semicircle or something.
Yeah, sort of.
Oh yeah, the original ones.
Yeah,
Saturnine pattern.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of that, which is cool.
Yeah, definitely great. But yeah, looking awesome there, Mark.
Those are
Look
super
forward to
cool.
seeing you finish him up and paint him. Mick Palazzi. Mick painted up this guy for a. So I think a couple of months ago, Mick had done another bust like this, but for a sign for a gaming room.
Yeah.
So this is another one. He said it's for another sign. He's in the chat. You'll be able to let us know, Mick, where you get the model from. Is it a 3D print or what? Let us know.
Palazzi and Sons sign company.
Sign company. Yep. Excellent. Nice one. Moving on. I just noticed the time. We're at like 9:10. So we'll race along. But Mike Hughes, I think we saw Mike like a work in progress from Mike a couple of months ago.
Dude, this is insane. I showed this to my wife and she's like, that's not real. That's all done digitally. And I was like, nope, this is Mike painted this.
Yep.
She's like, it hurts my eyes trying to look at it all. I was like, yep, that's yes, that's exactly correct.
It's amazing. Definitely.
Spectacular non-metallic metal sky earth non-metallic metal.
Yeah.
And he did it on every single panel on both sides, mirrored.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Down there. Absolutely spectacular. And I love the base as well. It's primarily just a piece of burl wood.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see all the structure there.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's just this plastic stone piece, just been worked in very carefully. But none of this is painted. It's all the original.
And just so everybody understands, like, no one ever needs to paint Abraxia ever again. Like, Mike has done it. Like, you can just check this off. This model has been painted.
Yep. Absolutely incredible. But yeah, there are more photos on the Facebook group. So if you're
it's wild.
a member, go and check it out. If you're not a member, there's a link down in the notes below. You can go and check that out. Click on the link, join, and click join group, and somebody will let you in. Yeah. Next up, Pete. Pete Hairston has been working on his Black Grail, and this is his version of the Lord of Tumors.
I love it. I love the big goiter that he's got.
Yeah. See the mucus dripping from it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Chalice down there. But yeah, looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And the broken sword. I always love that, like a big two-handed broken sword.
Yeah, that's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You can't have a sword that's too big, in my opinion.
Fantastic. Do you think that's another element of like working in video games?
You know, I had a friend, another concept artist, and he was always against the big swords, that they're too anime, but I always just thought they were really cool. So it's like personal taste, I guess, but big sword is cool in my opinion.
Yeah. Excellent. Fantastic. Oh, Mick was saying about his model earlier is it's called General Nuke, and it was a 3D print. Fantastic. So Pete shared this, and also this is a table that he set up for a game that he played.
Cool.
Oh yeah, him and my buddy Tim played a game.
Oh, cool.
I think he's got a little radial cross in the middle there.
Oh yeah,
That's required. It's not a Trench Crusade table unless there's one of those on there. Those are the rules.
Yep. I also love the little scanner piece here. With load crucifixes.
Yeah, it's like in Lithuania, there's this place called the Hill of Crosses where people like just deposit crosses, and over time, it's just like a mound of tons and tons of crosses. So it kind of it reminds me of that. That was like a big inspiration for Trench Crusade, this actual place.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see that.
Yeah. Fantastic. The lore for these guys I posted in the Trench Crusade community Facebook page.
Oh, cool.
Definitely go and check those out. And this is a
oh yeah.
This guy's out trick or treating.
It's all tricks. All tricks. But yeah, fantastic.
Very nice.
Looks great, Pete. And again, there are some more photos in the in our Facebook group of Pete's game. They're definitely cool.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yep. There we go.
Do you have a minute to talk about our Lord and Savior?
I think the guy's like, I should not have opened this door.
He's like, is the lady of the house home?
Fantastic. But looks awesome. Nice one.
Great.
Moving on.
Cool.
Scott Radham posted this and challenged me. He said 50 points, Dave, if you can name him. And I could not. I could only by going to the internet. And it's
I didn't know there was Mon Calamari Jedi.
Yeah.
So my guess is that this is a character either from like Rebels or Clone Wars, the Clone Wars cartoon. Like I didn't watch any of that stuff. So like if it's not in one of the like the shows or the movies, I probably don't know. So
yeah. I think it's like Nadav Veb is the name of the.
I believe you. I mean,
but apparently he was trained by Kit Fisto.
Oh yeah, he's the guy that he gets smoked in one of the other stories.
Yeah. But yeah,
the eyes are awesome.
Yeah. I think that whole head is just like it's just fantastic.
Yeah. Is this for a game?
Yeah, this is for Star Wars Shatterpoint.
So is it? But is this an actual? This is an actual release for Shatterpoint, or is this a 3D fan print?
No, he's one of the newer characters. He comes in one of the new faction boxes or one of the squad boxes.
Cool. But, fantastic. Looking great. Okay. There we go. You're saying there, Mike crushed it. He got killed with the quickness of by Grievous. Jake, the cartoons are the best Star Wars. You should watch them. Awesome. Beautiful work there, Scott. Sean has been working on this. This is like a texture trainer piece that was done for Nova last year. Cool. I think each year there's going to be a different one of these made. So this was made by Monument Hobbies and was available at the show. So
when you said texture trainer, so like people just paint these to get used to painting different textures and stuff?
Yeah, so you can see the size of it. It's not super huge. It's not sort of this big. You've got the size of the paint pot in the background there, just behind it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like 3 inches. It's like 3 inches across.
Oh, yeah, probably about that. So yeah, there's a bunch of different textures there. Learn how you can practice painting fire, bone, scale texture, that kind of thing. There are, I think Monument Hobbies do like 3 or 4, and some of them might have skin and beard, cloth texture, that kind of thing. Just that opportunity to paint, to try different textures as you're to paint on different textures as you're going. So
that's cool.
It does look cool. But yeah, nice work there, Sean. That's great. And then Stephen Ryer posted this cool old school orc.
Yeah, it's cool.
Orc musician.
Yep. I always think like whenever I see this guy, it's like he's bound to put one of those spikes through a drum.
Yeah.
He's gonna forget that he's not supposed to be hitting the drum with that.
I'm sure he's done it before. You can see all the patchwork on the drums. He stitched them back together a couple of times.
Yeah. Fantastic. I love the that orc skin on that face. It's just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And
if he was serious, if he was really serious about doing this, it should be on a goblin green base,
right.
and the handle should be red.
Right. Yeah. Well,
it is from that time period.
It is from that time period, but I think you can see on the back of the base there, you've got that purple.
Yeah,
which is also reflecting in the main set.
No,
so,
it's great. I love it. It's just like whenever I see these models, it's all my brain wants to substitute. Oh, it's on a square. It's a goblin green base.
There we go. Jake.
There's spears. Yep. All the spears are red for some reason.
Yeah. But I love the Evil Sun's work as well.
Yeah.
So looking good. But fantastic. Thanks very much, Stephen. I think that's the final mini that we're showing tonight.
Yeah, we are way over. So thank you everybody for being here. It was awesome going through all these minis and
yep.
Mike, thank you so much for being on with us, man. It was great.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Catch up and talk about everything and kind of pick your brain and kind of see what's going on behind the scenes.
Yep. But just quickly, Jake, I'd say next week we're going to have Mike Sibilia and Dan Osborne from the Nova team on. They're going to be talking about the Nova Open Hobby classes.
Am I taking next week off?
No, you are going to be here.
Are you sure?
You will be on a show with Dan Osborne.
I don't know.
If you want to take next week off, let me know now.
If we want to keep the trend going. So Dan has been on the show twice, and both times I wasn't here.
Yep. Jake was out of town. But no, I think because I know that you guys have met now, you met it like the world didn't explode.
That's true. That's true.
It's fine. But yeah, so we'll have Mike and Dan on next week, and we will be, as I said, giving away the ticket to Nova. So make sure you do all the things. So after this episode goes live as a video on YouTube, like, subscribe, tag somebody in a comment for a chance to win. Awesome. Okay. Done all that, the fun admin stuff.
So we're good?
And we're good.
All right, guys, there's links down below with everything we've talked about tonight. So there's links to the Kickstarter, there's links to Trench Crusade, there's links to the merch, there's links to all of it. Whatever you're looking for, there's probably a link. We will see you guys next time. Again, huge thank you to Mike. Like, thanks for taking the time out to talk to us. It was awesome having you on and getting to kind of like climb inside your head a little bit and get to see a little bit more of what's going on with this. We look forward to more updates. I can't wait to see the new rule book. I'm really, really looking forward to that. Is there anything you want to plug or mention?
We have a couple shows coming up that we're going to be at. We're going to be at the UK Games Expo, I think it's called, and we're also going to be at Nova as well in August. Yep. So if you haven't played the game, you can come by and do a demo or something.
Dave will be at both of those. We will both be at Nova.
Okay.
Yep.
So we'll definitely swing by and say hi.
Excellent.
Is that it, Dave? We good?
I think we're good. Mike, just hang out for a little bit after we wrap up the show.
Sure.
And we'll say our proper goodbyes afterwards and all that sort of fun stuff.
Guys, thanks everybody. We will see you next week. Be safe. Don't forget to post your photos. Make sure you like and subscribe. Tell all your friends about it. Share it wherever. We will see you next week. And as always, do not forget to build, paint, play.
Shut up and sit down.